Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Canada Immigration. We hope you're doing great. In this video, we will talk about the Express Entry Profile, all you need to know. Navigating the path to Canadian permanent residency can be both exciting and overwhelming. One of the most efficient and popular routes to achieving this goal is through Canada's Express Entry system. Whether you're a skilled worker, a professional, or someone seeking new opportunities in a vibrant and diverse country, creating an Express Entry Profile is the crucial first step. In this video, we'll break down everything you need to know about the Express Entry Profile, from eligibility requirements to tips on maximizing your chances of receiving an invitation to apply. Get ready to take a significant step towards your future in Canada. If you are interested in this topic, to get all the information, pay attention and watch the video through to the end. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the video. The Express Entry Profile, your gateway to Canadian immigration. Creating an Express Entry Profile is your first crucial step toward immigrating to Canada. This profile serves as a comprehensive snapshot of your qualifications, including age, language skills, education, work experience, and other key details that Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada considers when assessing your eligibility. If your profile meets the necessary criteria, it will be entered into the Express Entry Pool, where you have the chance to receive an invitation to apply for permanent residency. What is an Express Entry Profile? An Express Entry Profile is an electronic application submitted to the Canadian government through an online portal. This form requires you to provide detailed information, including personal information, age, marital status, and family details. Work experience, detailed history of your professional background. Education, academic qualifications and credentials. Language proficiency, results from approved tests in English or French. Connection to Canada, details about any previous work or study experience in Canada, job offers, or family members residing in the country. Once submitted, the profile is automatically evaluated to determine eligibility for the Express Entry system. To be accepted into the Express Entry Pool, you must qualify for one of the three federal immigration programs: Federal Skilled Worker Program, Canadian Experience Class, Federal Skilled Trades Program. Eligible profiles are entered into the Express Entry Pool and are assigned a comprehensive ranking system score, which ranks applicants against each other. The higher your CRS score, the better your chances of receiving an ETA. Essential documents for submitting an Express Entry Profile. To submit your Express Entry Profile, you must have the following three key documents. Language Proficiency Test. You must demonstrate your proficiency in either English or French through an approved language test. The required score varies depending on the program under which you are applying. For English, the IELTS General Training or CELPIP General exams are accepted. For French, you can take the TEF or TCF exams. Educational Credential Assessment. An essay is a mandatory requirement for those applying under the Federal Skilled Worker Program. This assessment evaluates your non-Canadian education by Canadian standards. While not mandatory for the Canadian Experience Class or Federal Skilled Trades Program, it is highly recommended, as education is a significant factor in your CRS score. There are 8 approved ESSA providers. However, the World Education Service is often recommended for its quicker processing times. Valid Passport. A valid passport is required to submit your Express Entry Profile. In exceptional cases, where obtaining a passport is impossible, alternative identification may be accepted. With these documents, you are ready to create your Express Entry Profile and enter the pool of candidates. Additional considerations when applying. Primary occupation. You must designate a primary occupation for which your eligibility will be assessed. This is a critical step, as your work experience and skills in this occupation will heavily influence your CRS score. Applying with a spouse or common law partner. If you are applying with a spouse or common law partner, it's wise to compare your qualifications before submission. One individual must be designated as the principal applicant, and most of the CRS scores will be based on their credentials. Both partners can create their own Express Entry Profiles if they each meet the eligibility requirements. Regardless of who is listed as the principal applicant, both partners will be granted Canadian permanent residency if selected. Taking the first step towards Canadian permanent residency. Creating an Express Entry Profile is a critical first step in your journey toward Canadian permanent residency. By ensuring that you meet the eligibility criteria and have the necessary documents, you increase your chances of success in the Express Entry system. Understanding the process and requirements will help you navigate this important stage with confidence. Language requirements for creating an Express Entry Profile. The language proficiency requirements for creating an Express Entry Profile vary depending on the immigration program under which you are applying. For example, Federal skilled worker applicants must demonstrate a minimum of comprehensive language benchmark level 7 to claim language points. However, in cases where applicants have lost points in other areas, a higher CLB level may be required to maintain eligibility. Accepted language tests. To prove English proficiency, the following tests are accepted: International English Language Testing System General Training, Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program General, Pearson Test of English Core. For demonstrating French proficiency, the accepted tests are: Test d'Évaluation de Français, TEF Canada, Test de Connaissance du Français, TCF Canada. Validity of language test results. Language test results used in an express entry profile must be less than 2 years old. If your results are nearing expiration, you should retake the exam and obtain new results before the original results expire. Update your express entry profile with the new results to avoid any disruptions. Obtaining an educational credential assessment report. To get an educational credential assessment report, follow our detailed guide on the process. There are 5 designated ESSA providers, along with 3 occupation-specific providers. Typically, you need to send your original transcripts and certificates to the chosen ESSA provider. The processing time for an ESSA report generally ranges from 1 to 5 months, depending on the provider. Selecting your primary occupation. Your primary occupation is the job you wish to be assessed against. It is crucial to choose the occupation that best reflects your work experience. Federal skilled worker applicants, your primary occupation must be a skilled job, with at least 12 months of continuous employment within the last 10 years. Canadian experience class applicants, your primary occupation must involve at least 12 months of experience within the last 3 years in Canada, working in a skilled occupation with the proper legal authorization. Federal skilled trade worker applicants, your primary occupation must be a skilled trade, with a minimum of 2 years of experience within the last 5 years. For those interested in provincial nominee programs, it's important to choose a primary occupation that is targeted by the provinces, as this could increase your chances of receiving a provincial nomination. Selecting your National Occupational Classification (NOC) code. To find your National Occupational Classification code, use the Canadian government's NOC search tool. Start by entering your job title to see the possible matches. Review the descriptions for each returned code to determine which NOC best aligns with your work experience. If no exact match is found, select the NOC code that most closely represents your experience. When invited to apply for permanent residence, ensure your reference letter details duties that correspond to the chosen NOC code to support your application. Using multiple NOC codes on your express entry profile. Yes, you can use multiple National Occupational Classification codes on your express entry profile. While some express entry aligned programs require a minimum amount of work experience in a single occupation to qualify, once you meet this minimum threshold, you can include additional work experience from other skilled occupations. This additional experience can contribute to your comprehensive ranking system score. Be sure to include all relevant foreign and Canadian work experience in your profile to maximize your CRS points, including self-employed work experience. Yes, you should include all types of work experience, including self-employed work. Self-employment experience is recognized for certain immigration programs, such as the Federal Skilled Worker Program. As long as it meets the criteria for skilled work, ensure that you provide detailed documentation and references to support your self-employment experience in your profile. Cost of an express entry profile. There is no fee to submit an express entry profile to the express entry pool. However, you may incur costs associated with obtaining necessary documents, such as language test results and educational credential assessment reports. To help you better anticipate these costs, refer to our handy table, which outlines the typical expenses you might encounter. Language tests, costs for English and French proficiency tests, educational credential assessment, fees for obtaining an ESSA report, document preparation, costs for gathering and certifying documents, if applicable. By preparing ahead and budgeting for these potential expenses, you can ensure a smoother application process. Before entering the pool, other items and costs. Government fees. Proof of funds for express entry. Whether you need to show proof of funds to enter the express entry pool depends on the immigration program you are applying for. Federal Skilled Worker Program. Proof of funds is required if you do not have a valid job offer from a Canadian employer. The amount of funds required depends on the number of family members included in your application. Canadian Experience Class Program. Proof of funds is not required for SEC applicants. Pro tip: if you are eligible for both the FSW and SEC programs and receive an invitation to apply, check under which program you were selected. If your ETA was issued under the FSW program, you will need to provide proof of funds even if you also qualify under the SEC program, including family members in your profile. Yes, you can include your spouse or common law partner, as well as dependent children. In your express entry profile, dependent children are defined as 1. A child under the age of 22 who is not married. 2. A child over the age of 22 who has been financially dependent on the principal applicant since before turning 22 due to a physical or mental condition, including parents in your profile. No, you cannot include your parents in your express entry profile. However, if you become a permanent resident of Canada through the express entry system, you may later sponsor your parents for immigration to Canada. Job offer requirements. You do not need a job offer from a Canadian employer to submit an express entry profile. However, having a valid job offer can enhance your profile significantly. No job offer required. You can submit a profile without a job offer. Additional CRS points. An approved job offer can earn you either 50 or 200 additional CRS points, depending on the type of job offer. Including a job offer can be a strategic advantage, boosting your CRS score and improving your chances of receiving an ETA. Creating an express entry profile while living in Quebec. Yes, you can create an express entry profile if you live in Quebec. However, since the express entry system is designed for federal immigration programs, if you receive an invitation to apply, you must demonstrate your intention to live outside Quebec. This is particularly relevant if you have a job offer from a Quebec employer, as it may conflict with your intention to reside outside Quebec. If you do have a job offer in Quebec, you should explore your eligibility for Quebec's immigration programs. Age limit for express entry profiles. There is no age limit for submitting an express entry profile. However, the comprehensive ranking system awards points based on the applicant's age, with points decreasing as the applicant gets older. Therefore, while there is no age restriction, older applicants may receive fewer CRS points for age. Submitting an express entry profile. To submit an express entry profile, you need to have all the required information and documentation ready. You can submit your profile through the IRCC secure account by creating a GC key or signing in with a designated sign-in partner. After submission, you will receive an express entry profile number starting with an E. Keep this number for future reference. Profile validity. An express entry profile is valid for 12 months from the date of submission. If your profile expires, you will need to resubmit it to remain in the pool. Profiles may also be removed from the pool if you become ineligible for the immigration program, such as aging out of eligibility or having expired language test results. Difference between an express entry profile and a permanent residence application. Submitting an express entry profile is not the same as applying for permanent residence. The profile is an expression of interest to the Canadian government, indicating your desire to be considered for immigration. You can only apply for permanent residence if you receive an ETA from the express entry pool, including your spouse and children. Yes, you can include your spouse or common law partner and dependent children in your profile. Including them can improve your chances of receiving an ETA. Your spouse should also have their profile, with their language test results and educational credential assessment report added to your profile to boost your CRS score. Including parents in your profile. No, you cannot include your parents in your express entry profile. However, if you become a permanent resident, you may later sponsor your parents for immigration to Canada. Job offer requirements. A job offer from a Canadian employer is not required to create an express entry profile, but having one can enhance your profile. An approved job offer can provide 50 or 200 additional CRS points, depending on the job's national occupational classification code. Multiple profiles. You can only have one valid express entry profile at a time. If your profile expires, you may resubmit a new one if you remain eligible. What to do if your profile expires? If your profile expires, you can resubmit a new profile as long as you are still eligible. Maintaining an active profile is recommended to remain eligible for receiving an ETA or a provincial nomination. Entering the express entry pool multiple times. You may enter the express entry pool as many times as you like, provided you maintain eligibility. However, you can only have one valid profile in the pool at any given time. Actions after submitting a profile. Once your profile is active, focus on improving your CRS score to increase your chances of receiving an ETA. Refer to our guide on how to enhance your CRS score for tips. Updating your profile. You can update your express entry profile at any time before receiving an ETA. To update, log into your GC key account, access your profile, and make the necessary changes. After updating, submit the profile again to apply the changes. Automatic updates to your CRS score may occur with changes in work experience or age. Selection of profiles. Express entry profiles are selected through regular draws conducted by the Canadian government. If your profile is selected, you will receive a notification in your ircc portal for the latest information on draws. Check our updated page on Express entry draws. Number of profiles selected each year. The number of profiles selected each year depends on Canada's immigration levels plan for 2024. Canada aims to admit between 90,000 and 116,000 candidates through the Express Entry system, excluding those coming through provincial nominee programs aligned with Express Entry. Creating and maintaining an Express Entry profile is more than just a formality, it's your gateway to a new life in Canada. By understanding the system, optimizing your profile, and staying informed about the latest updates, you can significantly increase your chances of receiving an invitation to apply for permanent residency. As you embark on this journey, remember that every detail matters. Stay proactive, keep your profile up to date, and be prepared for the opportunities that lie ahead. With the right approach, Canada could soon be welcoming you with open arms. That is all for today. In this video, what are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take care.